Good morning. The first thing I want to talk about this morning is freedom. And freedom is an abstract concept. A lot of people have different ideas of freedom. A lot of people think that to have money is freedom, that they can go on holidays here and go on holidays there and everything else. But I can assure you, and I speak from experience, that nothing can be more enslaving than money. Uh, and so we live in a paradoxical universe, and this can make life very hard to understand, that the universe is comprised of binary opposites, paradoxes, ambiguities, and it can make life very difficult to understand, but you have to factor in all these things when you're trying to understand life. And really then when you want to talk about freedom, really freedom is the first thing you have to realize is that in order to be free, you have to realize that you have choice. Now, a lot of people don't realize they have choice. But the first choice is, as I say, is to choose to be or not to be. And a lot of people don't choose to be because they actually don't make the choice. But this is why Shakespeare said to be or not to be. And a lot of people tell you to be. But to be is the first choice, is to actually choose to exist. Now, there was a man here the other day who said to me that, oh, existence is not a choice. We all exist. We're thrown into this world, and existence is not a choice. But existence is a choice, because this is what Descartes said. The theory of existence. I think, therefore I am. But a lot of people don't think because they're not the thinker. That you can't control your thoughts. So they just react to their thoughts. They react to their thoughts, and their opinion might, to their thoughts, to their external events, might make them angry, might make them jealous, might make them behave in a certain way. Most people's behaviour is determined by their feelings. Now, this is not to exist, because this is just a manifestation of the universe. Now, to choose to exist, you have to focus on what is within your control. And that's your response to your thoughts, your response to external events. You have to choose the best response to every eventuality. And this is to choose to exist, to realize that you have a choice in choosing how to respond. And this is to your thoughts. And as I say, the internal world and the external world is two sides of the same coin. So once you realize this, you realize that you focus on everything, watch everything, and you choose your response in every eventuality. This is to exist, to think for yourself, and this includes to think to yourself in relation to your soul. Is to think for yourself and to say to yourself, well, why would I do this? Why would I do that? And this is to use reason, and your soul will give you a reason to act in a certain way. Now, this is the choice to exist. As I say, most people don't realise that they have this choice. And until you start focusing on what is within your control and not what is not within your control, you don't have this choice. That's the first thing. Now, the next thing, this is freedom, to realise that you have choice. You can act as a thing in itself, but you can't exist as a thing in and of itself, because you can't be separate from nature. You're a part of nature, and you cannot be separate from it. So you have to learn to live in accordance with nature. And this is well, to live in accordance with nature is to live in accordance with your soul. So you act together. And then the next thing then is what it is to stay out of your own way. To stay out of your own way is freedom. They both are interlinked, because if your soul is free, in other words, if your soul is free, that you will stay out of your own way, that you don't react to a situation. That, for example, if you decide to get angry, get angry, get jealous, get mad, the other people are controlling you, and then you're going to get in your own way, because you're going to act. Your actions are going to be determined by your feelings. So if something makes you angry, and you're going to act in accordance with this, like you say, oh, that's an injustice, I'm going to right this injustice, I'm going to act in a certain way, I'm going to get involved here, then this is to get in your own way, because it's not your business, and you're not seeking to understand, and it's not conducive to your goal, and you haven't even talked about this, and you haven't said to yourself, well, why would I act in this? What's my intent? What's my reason for getting involved? Like, for example, one time in the summer, we had an incident, and I consider it to be an injustice. And I said, here, fuck this, I'm getting involved in this. And my soul said, stay out of it, stay out of it, stay out of it. And I said, no, I fucking won't. No, I fucking won't. I'm fucking getting involved in this. I'm not having this. Is this your morality? Is this your morality? I said, I'm not having this. And I did get involved. And then when I got involved, a few days in, I realised the error of my ways, and I said, geez, I've made a mistake. And I had to do something to fix that mistake. And then I had, mind does to us what we do to others. So then there was a consequence for my actions, and I had to accept this consequence. I had to accept with equanimity. But then, if you realise that mind does to us what we do to others, this is the basis for Kant's categorical imperative. Don't do to anyone else what you wouldn't like done unto yourself. But if you don't have any fears and you don't have any aversions, then this doesn't stop you from acting in a certain way. You do what you think is right. But you have to talk about this first. But you do what you think is right. Because if you act on anger, or you act in anger or in jealousy or anything like this, then you're going to get in your own way. Do you know what I mean? So in order to stay out of your own way, you have to learn to be able to observe life and to use reason and to say to yourself, well, I think I should act in a certain way, and your soul will say to you, well, that's not a good idea, stay out of it, or whatever. And it will explain to you if you ask or you seek to understand. It'll show you, and all you have to do is pay attention, but seek to understand. For example, and this applies individually and collectively. So if you understand, you might say American imperialism is an injustice, but if you seek to understand, it's sort of like peeling back the layers of an onion. It's sort of like buying an old house, and then you strip back the old house and you realise that you have a termite problem, that the whole structure is fucking rotten. And then but this is not apparent when you're buying a house. You get an engineer's report or whatever you fucking like. But this is seeking to understand before you actually make your purchase. You seek to understand. Look you do everything within your control to see these things. But if you realise then, so basically, staying out of your own way, in order to stay out of your own way, your actions can't be determined by your feelings. You have to seek to understand, and you have to listen to your soul. And this is the highest level of freedom, because you are your soul. And if your soul is free, then you're free. And this is freedom. This is the highest level of freedom. But if you say allow people to entrap you, which they will try and do. This is thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. This is dialectics, which is also a part of life. Thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. In other words, this is what drives the evolutionary process. Life imposing on you and causing you suffering and causing you hardships, and the process of having to adapt and overcome the synthesis of these hardships. But it's basically how you choose to respond is what's going to determine the synthesis. This is what's going to determine your life, how you choose to respond. As Carl Jung said, unless you make the unconscious conscious, it will determine your life, and you will call it fate. And this is very important, that it's sort of like playing the Witcher game, that your life is very much going to be determined by your moral choices. And really, a lot of people think that that their life is their destiny, that life is so determined that you achieve your destiny either way, that you can just free flow through life in a free flow state, like others say to me, that they try to tell me that you don't exist. But this is a projection on their part. They don't exist, but that's because they choose not to exist. But I choose to exist because I choose to play the game. I choose to think about my response and seek to understand life and choose my response. And in some cases, I have to choose to stay out of things, even though initially they make me angry. And I say to myself, this is an injustice. I'm going to get involved in this. And then I have to sit back. I have to go to the bed, roll around in the bed for a bit, and I have to say to myself, this is not my business. And to stay out of this and seek to understand why things are the way they are. and not let my actions be determined by my feelings or my opinion, because this is what makes you angry. This is what makes you angry, what makes you jealous, what makes you anything like this is your opinion. Your opinion about the things. And you have to ask yourself, well, what's making me angry? Well, it's my opinion. And then you can change your opinion by seeking to understand the rational order of the universe, why things are the way they are. And you can ask, and it'll show you if you just seek to understand. And then you can lose this anger. So where initially I might get angry at something, I say to myself, what's making me angry? It's my opinion that's making me angry. It's my opinion about the things that's making me angry. And then if I was to choose to act in anger, I'm then going to get in my own way. And then I'm not free, because my soul is not free. I'm getting in my own way. And really, if you stay out of your own way, this is the best way to reach your full potential, because your soul will guide you, will bring you to your full potential. But if there's fears, desires, anger, jealousy, anything like this, if your actions are going to be determined by your feelings and not pure reason, then you're going to get in your own way. And really, like, the first choice then that has to be made when you realise that you have choice is the aesthetic man or the virtuous man. And the aesthetic man is to choose security and comfort. And the price of choosing security and comfort is that life loses all meaning. And when life loses all meaning, it's like me watching the chess the other night. You attach no meaning to it. It's like me watching the chess the other night. I was sitting observing the chess, but I wasn't thinking about the chess. I wasn't thinking about who was moving what, who was winning. I didn't give a fuck. I was just watching. I wasn't thinking, oh, he's moving this to counter this move or to counter that move. No, I was just watching the chess. But as I said, I wouldn't like to live life like this, because the chess to me was just bullshit. I attached no meaning to it. The chess had no meaning to me. But nothing has any meaning, only meaning you give it. Now, I could have chosen to give meaning to the chess by seeking to understand the chess and seeking to understand why he's making that move, why he's making that move. But I didn't give a fuck about the chess. But I do about life. And this is what gives my life meaning. I choose to give life meaning by seeking to understand life, to seeking to understand why things are the way they are, seeking to understand why I'm sitting here, why I'm what I'm doing, what my goal is, what my purpose is. I choose to cling to a goal and chase it fearlessly and relentlessly by staying out of my own way. And this gives my life meaning. But if you choose security and comfort, what's the point of the universe giving you an organizing idea or a goal or something to strive towards if it's only going to be countered by your clinging to your couch and your television and your house and clinging to things, your fears, your aversions, your fear of losing things, where actually in actual fact nothing's actually yours. But you cling to these things. So what's the point in the universe giving you an organising idea of which would give your life meaning? And this is why the price of security and comfort, the price of aestheticism is boredom, in which life loses all meaning. And when life loses all meaning, it's bullshit. And this is why I say cling to nothing, but I also say control what's yours to control. You have to control what's given to you to control. So, for example, like if you say, was Marcus Aurelius free? I'm sure he was. I'm sure he was as free as I am. I'm sure he listened to his soul. But when he was being given the Roman Empire, he said, I don't want it. I don't want it. Much the same as I do. Reject everything, refute everything, refuse everything. I don't want it. I want to be free. I want to be free. But then again, the question is, what do you do with that freedom? And this then, the question is what you do with that freedom. And this is your duty to nature. Because what's the point in being free if you're just going to sit in there, as I said when I reached a certain level of freedom, the question was, and this made me depressed, what was I going to do with this freedom? Because life had no purpose. I had no goal to chase. I didn't want any business again. I didn't want any money again. I didn't want any of these things again. But I saw just sitting in the chair smoking joints and contemplating life and thinking to myself, everything is bullshit. And then this caused me to be depressed until the universe came and said, do you want to go and do this? And I said, why should I? I don't really want any of these things. And I said, this is virtue. This is to serve purpose, your duty to nature. This is to do your duty to nature. This is the best thing you can do with that freedom is your duty to nature. And I said, okay, let's go and do this. And then they organised an idea which started with one small thing. I was going to the Philippines to commandeer mango plantations, which I still am. started to grow and grow and grow. The organising idea started to grow and grow. But that's because I'm free to take on these things and take on this duty to nature. I don't cling to anything. I've no desires and aversions, so I don't get in my own way. So basically, my soul is free to chase my full potential, to realise my full potential. My soul is free to do this. But for this, you have to stay out of your own way. And to stay out of your own way, your actions can't be determined by your feelings. Good luck, I may go.